Kevin?
I'd like to start this Town New Canaan Parking Commission regular meeting for Wednesday, November 5th. Time is 7 p.m. Yeah,
That's it.
that's it.
Nice. All right, you want to ask for some minutes approvals?
Yes. Could we get an approval of minutes for the meeting held on September 3rd, 2025?
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Cool. And then number 2 in the agenda, an update on the parking lots from Tiger Man.
There he is.
Good evening. Yeah, thanks for having me back. We said that we would, at our last meeting, or last time we were together, we kind of gave you an overview of how we were going to restripe the Playhouse and the Park Street lots. And then I told you I had to go to P&Z for an 8-24 review. That's per state statute. And then I was going to come back and give you a report. So I'm back to give you that report. Just give me a moment and I'll share my screen here. Can everybody see that?
Yep.
All right. So as we talked about, we were looking at repaving or reconfiguring, restriping the Playhouse and Park Street lots as part of the overall project, whereby we're installing the new pedestrian staircase and ramps and new alleyway sidewalk between the Playhouse and Le Pen, between the Playhouse lot and Elm Street itself. So that project's underway. They'll be pouring, they put the dumpster enclosure in already. And then they'll be, show this right here, that dumpster enclosure. They put that in, they'll be pouring that slab tomorrow. And then they're starting to work on, they've graded out the sidewalk in the alleyway. And they're going to be pouring that hopefully by the end of the week. If not early next week, they'll pour that and then they'll start on the ramp and the stairhouse proper. But to give you where we were, so this was
Looks like there's a new ramp in the design now. Is that
there is a ramp in the design. That's correct. So it's there was always a ramp in the design, but there was never a ramp there. So it's a new ramp. So now that area will serve as it'll be compliant since it'll be an accessible ramp, and then we'll be having a loading zone up in that area so that we can actually try to get some of the trucks. Some of the smaller trucks and tractor trailers will not fit in that area, but some of the smaller trucks and the box trucks will be able to come up to the Playhouse lot.
Excuse me, Tiger, could you point out where you're talking about the new ramp?
Sure. So the new ramp, all of that is right in here. Okay, so you can see right here this ramp. Yeah, so the steps are here, right here. And then you can see where this is the loading zone in through this area. Okay.
Yep.
And then the ramp itself starts. So there's 2 accessible parking spaces here in the Playhouse lot where we hadn't had accessible spaces before, since there was it was landlocked itself. So now these accessible spaces will come through here to the beginning of the ramp, come down one portion of the ramp, turn 180 degrees, come down another portion, turn 90 degrees, and finish right where the staircase ends. So the ramp will come out right where the staircase ends, and this is all being reconstructed. This sidewalk is being reconstructed out, and Elm Street is down here at the bottom of the page.
So is that both a wheelchair accessible ramp and ramps for the deliveries?
Yes, it's designed specifically for wheelchairs, and and since they have that there, then they can use it as a loading zone for their hand trucks and what have you.
Will where will the trucks who are making their deliveries, they won't be I assume they won't be blocking in the handicap spots, right?
No, they'll be working in this area and through here, right and through here. They'll be working. They won't be allowed to block the disabled spaces.
Okay.
But Tiger, what I was looking at was this here by the Park Street lot. There's now like a red
Oh, that's where it says, that's the enclosures for the dumpsters, you mean? Oh, the
This is-
stairwell.
No,
This
no,
is
one
the
on the
dumpster.
left.
This is the
That's on
dumpster.
the left.
It's in the middle,
Yeah.
right, yeah, there.
This, yeah, well, this is what was requested by the commission itself, was to remove this staircase that's here, the existing staircase, and instead keep this existing staircase, and then at that point in time, we have to provide a ramp for this route, for this parking lot to come down to this ramp. So we have a ramp through here, and then this hashed area is the accessible route down to this ramp. And then that'll get you down to Elm Street itself. Or you can come out to the sidewalk, and the sidewalk is an accessible route as well. Excuse me. So
there's going to be a ramp next to the stairs that let you down the White Buffalo stairs.
that's correct. We're at this staircase and ramp is under design at present. And we'll complete that design over the winter.
And that will go back and forth because that's steep.
Yeah, well, we just don't have enough run. You have to have, it's 1 inch per 12. So 1 inch per 12 inches, we don't have enough. So there's a several step rise in this area. We just don't have enough run straight down. So we've got to make a kind of a hook, a switchback design, similar to the one that we have behind the playhouse itself. We just don't have enough room, and we didn't want to have it where you started the ramp here and you started the staircase here, and then the ramp came down to where the staircase was. We felt it was better that everyone coming would come to one junction point. If you come down the stairs, you come back and you meet the person coming down the stairs. So if you had an able-bodied person with a mobility issue, the able-bodied person could walk down the stairs. You both start at the same location and you end at the same location. So that was the thought. That's the better design, is that. So as I mentioned, we went to P&Z with this
Doctor,
design.
hang on, John's got a question, hang on.
Sure.
No, I'm sorry, it was more of a comment,
Oh.
although I do have a question. The comment is, I really appreciate that you were so responsive to the questions that we raised about that specific area when you visited with us in the
Yep,
summer.
you're welcome.
And then
We
the question is, does it cost us a parking spot there because of that
No.
accessible avenue?
No,
there?
it does not. We had we had specifically designed this area around where the existing staircase was. So this area to add in the 2 spaces and the access aisle. So it doesn't cost us any spaces.
Terrific.
So like I said, we went to P&Z. P&Z had very limited comments about it, very similar to what you're asking. They asked a lot about the ramp. They asked a lot about the dumpster enclosure itself, and then the overall striping layout. And we did mention the fact that, we'll be losing 12 spaces in the upper lot, 9 spaces, I believe, in the lower lot.
In order to widen them, right?
But yes, but where the previous slide showed you that, the previous design, the spaces were at 8 by 17. So they were 8 feet wide by 17 feet long, nowhere near code. The village design guidelines allows us to be 9 by 18. So we designed the lot, Maria designed the lot for all 9 by 18 spaces, which is very similar to what we have in other locations in town. It's exactly what we did for Morse Court, with 24-foot access aisles, 9 by 18 spaces throughout, and then the disabled space count is compliant. So we've got 2 disabled spaces in the lower lot. We have 46 spaces overall, 2 of which are accessible. And then we have 112 spaces in the upper lot, 5 of which are accessible. So you have to have your first, your 26th, your 51st, your 76th, and your 101st have to be accessible spaces. We have that. So
How many of those long-term spots are being taken up by the dumpster enclosure?
There are no long-term spots anymore.
3.
Oh, okay. So I'm sorry. So along the berm there, how many of those spots are?
We lost 3 spaces in that area for the dumpster enclosure itself. But we gained back 2 here, which we didn't have before, because that's where the dumpster enclosure were and the other dumpsters were. So in essence, it's almost a wash for the 2, But it was a necessary evil, in my opinion, because we wanted to get the dumpster out of basically the area we're asking everyone to come to. We're asking everyone to park in the lot, come down this staircase, and then enter Elm Street at the 50-yard line, and you've got to pass by 2 dumpsters and a compactor as you go down the staircase. It was, it wasn't very conducive or very welcoming. So we wanted
Tiger, what does the town use those dumpsters for? Just out of curiosity.
the
tenants.
merchants.
Merchants
So
of those
you have,
buildings.
you have Soleil, Blackbird, the Playhouse, the
So
town
the
hall
town
itself.
maintains their dumpsters?
They pay.
They pay.
Got it. Okay.
They
We
have
had-
no places, some of the stores there and the businesses have no places for any garbage, right? They have no back, anything. So that's the way we work it, that they all pay to have them emptied and cleaned.
Previous to that, there were 7 dumpsters in that location. Each one had their own dumpster. And we did, we talked to them all to consolidate into 1 compactor and 2 other dumpsters, which they, to Tucker's point, they all pay for. And also it keeps them from having garbage cans on Elm Street itself. So it cleans up the sidewalk, because we were having problems with garbage on the sidewalks, cardboard, other things that were being left out and not picked up. So, when a business closed, they bring it out there to the street. When they close, well, the street's still alive at that point in time. If a business closes at 5 or 7 o'clock and the street's alive till 10 or 11, we've got garbage cans out there, and it wasn't very welcoming. So that caused us to put dumpsters in the back, but then everyone had their own, as I mentioned. So we had 7 dumpsters in the back. So we consolidated down. Now we're going to get down to the fact where we'll probably have 2 compactors. Right now we'll have the 1 compactor and 2 dumpsters in the enclosure, but it's been built so that if we want to go to 2 compactors, we can go to 2 compactors, 1 recycling and 1 garbage. So that's
Tiger, is
it.
there going to be
When we
anything
see,
done aesthetically on the outside of the dumpster enclosure?
Right now we're looking at we're waiting for a quote from the mason for brick cladding. So we're looking to clad the outside in brick, the 3 walls on the outside, not the interior, because that'll be blocked by the dumpsters themselves. But the exterior would be brick, which would then tie in with Le Pen and with the Playhouse and some of the other buildings in the area. So town hall. So we felt that was a good way to go as far as how to dress it up.
A similar initiative over in Morse Court recently, because we had a problem there with all the different toters. So we built an enclosure, and it's much better for 1,000,001 reasons. And the other thing is, you might notice right now during the construction, one of the challenges we had was that those businesses that we just talked about had no way, when the ramp was pulled out, that the stairs were pulled out, had no way to get their garbage up there. So what we had to do, Tiger quickly was nimble enough to be able to we got the toters that are left in the alleyway over at night so they can dump dump their garbage. They pull them out to the street in the morning, they get picked up, and then they bring them back in. So this is just if you see the toters in front of like the Playhouse area at night, that this is just a stopgap until we get them completed so they can get back up there.
Yeah, I drove by today and noticed, I think Tiger, you were out there talking with some of the guys. There was a bunch of garbage cans out front of that.
Right. Well, that's because we were pouring an area inside the sidewalk area. So we had to pull the toters out of the alley, and put them out in that kind of area, the dead area between the Playhouse and Le Pen, right there for that moment while they were working inside. And then they pulled them inside at night, and then the dumpster our garbage hauler comes in and pulls them out individually in the morning, dumps them and puts them back. So it's working right now as a stopgap measure, but they won't be there over in the long term.
And you have a huge digger in that alley for LA.
Yes. Yeah. Barely fits, but yeah. So that was the other thing. He had to walk up and down the hill. So we had to get the toters out of the way for him to be able to walk up and down the hill and carry the concrete down is what he was doing. He was taking the concrete from the back from the mixer. They were dumping into the bucket. He was walking it down the hill and then pouring it in. So it was quite tight in the area. But overall, this is the layout that P&Z approved. This is the layout that we had shown you guys, the commission previously, with the addition of with the ramp and stairs as was mentioned. And then what we'll be looking to do is we do not want to be working in these parking lots during the season between Thanksgiving and Christmas. The asphalt plants are going to close around December 15th. We don't want to be working in that time frame because in order to do these 2 lots, I've got to jockey the cars around, and overall it's going to take about 7 days to do it total, and we don't want to do it during that time. So we're going to come back in the spring, repave it, and restripe it at that point in time. That way, once the plants open up in the spring, I can get a jump on some of the work that has to happen in and around the lot, just to make it its full footprint, especially this area over here. We've got to take down a couple of trees in this area and move one telephone pole to get it out of the way. And then we'll come, like I said, we'll come in the spring and take care of it all in one shot and restripe it like this. And hopefully everyone will be very happy with the fact that they're not having their cars dinged or they're having a hard time getting in and out. I was watching a couple of cars in the Park Street lot the other day, and a person had to do about 5 shots to get into one of the spaces, you know, and the only thing that helped her was the fact that across the way there was a space that was open. So she jockeyed in between right in here, back and forth into a space here and then back, and probably took her about 5 shots to get it right. Only because it's an 8x17 space at present. When we get to the 9x18, she probably can do it in one turn. So.
And Tiger, at the south end of the Playhouse lot, trucks will be able to make that turn. I see some cross hatching there to exit
So-
after they.
Yes, so we've done well already. We know our dumpster company can do this, and he's already done these moves multiple times.
And
We've
they're
had other
probably there
trucks that-
early when no cars are there,
He's
right?
there at 5 o'clock in the morning, but we've had others like now the construction company's been working in there. But yeah, we did an analysis through here. Granted, we can't take a tractor trailer without having cars moved because it just would not fit. But a large box truck, the larger vehicle, will be able to make all the turns here. So coming in, going out, coming in, going out, they can make everything. We're going to be looking for them to all come in through this access road and then out. Will be basically the flow of travel. So they'll come
And
in
when
from
they're
Park Street. and
stopping,
down there.
unloading, cars can still get around that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll be, when they're in this area through here, the cars will be able to get past. Yeah.
Tiger, two quick questions.
Sure.
The bottom, the ramp, like where the cross hatches on the very bottom below the ramp stairs by others.
Yep.
Is that, are we gonna, or is that, as in, people usually park down there, is that gonna lose spots down there?
Oh, yeah.
You're talking
Where it says AC on the very bottom to the left of that?
these two
No, left of that.
left that? No,
Yeah,
they'll
where the
be-
walkway is.
Yeah, so in this area here, what we have is we put the accessible route along the building line. There's
Yeah,
actually.
are we gonna
and
lose
then-
spots
and then
there?
No, because these cars will be out in the there's enough room across to be able to take the travel lane, the car, and the accessible aisle. We
Okay.
just drew it over the top of the cars because we wanted to be close to the building, but when Maria and I measured it, there's enough room to stack them in. So they're part of this 112 space count, is the
Yeah.
spaces up in here plus the spaces here.
Okay. And then the second thing is that lately I've been seeing a lot of people in the top Park Street lot, like entrance, the two-way entrance. I've seen a lot of backups of people trying to turn right into it. If there's a car turn like waiting to turn left out of it, it's difficult for cars to get in and out of that area.
Yeah, that we measured
there any
that.
way
It's 24 feet wide. We've noticed that as well, but we didn't do anything to change that.
Yeah.
The
Do you think
spacing in between the walls has been what it's been forever. So as long as
is there a
I've
way
been
to
here.
like make it like a little bit like wider at the street, like where the like sidewalk is, like make that a little bit wider?
I already widened that beyond what it was originally before we put the sidewalk in. I actually made it wider. I think people are just visually having a hard time approaching it, but you are
Yeah.
correct. I've noticed it myself that it seems to be, difficult for people. They're afraid of that wall. It's
Might help
specifically
though,
this
Tiger,
wall.
when the trees are down, you might get a little, with
Yeah.
that tree there, you'll have a little more
might.
visual.
Might open it up a little bit for
Right.
everybody because I think that's where it's, that's one of the problems. But we did measure that specifically to see if there was a constraint, but there really isn't. I think it's more a visual constraint than an actual physical constraint for people. but I've noticed the same thing, Kevin,
Yeah.
that, that it's a little, seems to be an issue for some people.
And then my last question is, I guess, is for the new, like where the dumpsters are, is that gonna be done like before like the holidays? Is that gonna be like cleared up and everything?
Yeah, so the dumpster area, like I said, we're gonna pour that slab tomorrow, and we're gonna be moving the compactor and the dumpsters into there to free up all the space that we need to do the ramp. And the goal was to finish by Thanksgiving. So we had a discussion about that today. To have
And the
everything
brick
done.
and the backfill and everything will
Yeah.
be, yeah.
Yep. Yeah. The goal is to be pretty much out of the area for between Thanksgiving and Christmas, so that there's no hindrance to anyone.
Sweet.
Tiger, one quick question, and forgive me, I don't have my glasses on, I'm squinting, but is the Playhouse lot still like one-way traffic flow?
Is it, well, we'll be looking for that to be, yeah, we've sized it 24-foot aisles because we have to, but we'll be looking for the one-way traffic, similar to what it is now in,
Like the down
out.
and yeah.
Yeah, down in and out, and we'll stripe it with arrows accordingly. But
Gotcha.
they have 24-foot aisles, mainly because these cars can't get out without a 24-foot aisle. So it's a 24-foot aisle, 24-foot aisle here, but you're correct. We'd like them to come in here and out, specifically because we've got
With
the
like the
loading
trucks coming in, yeah, that was my
But
question.
we want
Okay.
them to come down to this lower route past the annex and come out to avoid that. So this layout was strictly so everyone could see the striping, not necessarily the traffic flow. Maria put arrows in the top one, but she didn't put in the bottom, but the traffic flow will remain the same for the lower one.
Cool, thank you.
You're welcome.
Does anyone else have any other questions? Tiger, do you have anything else?
No, I'm good. If you guys are good, I'm good.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
All right. All right. Well,
Thanks,
thank you very
Tyler.
much. If you have any questions, just let Stacy know or Tucker know, and I'm happy to answer them as we go. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks for
Tiger.
coming.
Thanks.
Thank
All right.
you so much.
Take care.
Thanks. Good night.
Bye-bye.
He's gonna stop sharing.
So we can move on to the paid parking initiative update from Stacy.
Yeah, Stacy, you wanna talk and then I'll fill in?
Sure.
I figure we know you have a lot of questions, we've been hearing them, but we thought maybe the best way to approach this is for Stacy to sort of give you her update. I can also provide some update on my end, and then we'll just get into the questions, because we might answer some of your questions along the way.
So I think as of our last meeting, we were still waiting on the machines to come in. So by the end of September, we got possession of the machines. At that point, we started the installation process. We started changing over all the lots to the pay-by-plate system, getting the machines up and running, getting the signage up, making sure everything was in place before we went live. And on October 6th, I call it, we went live. The machines were up and running. All the play-by-plate systems were working, and we just began to work with all our visitors, residents, and shoppers to transition over to this new phase of paying for parking on Elm Street and South Avenue, directing people to the Park Street lot, explaining what that was all about with the 3-hour parking, and just getting everybody used to, the whole new initiative. Overall, I do want to start out with saying that since we started, I have been getting a lot of positive feedback from people coming into the office or calling, saying that, this was a good program that we started, a good initiative. I think Tucker and Deanna are also getting, positive feedback on the changeover. We are seeing space availability. We are seeing movement on Elm Street and the turnover. So then the initiative is accomplishing what the goal was. We are seeing the spaces, more space availability on Elm Street.
Is there less double parking on Elm Street?
We still have some double parking, but we're focusing on that as well. We're focusing on the trucks right now. We do have the trucks still double parking,
But
but
remember
we're
that whole
hoping
ramp.
the whole ramp will take a lot of that away. But again, because it's not, finished yet, we still,
They're still.
there's still that there.
They are.
But we
we're
are
also
moving,
talking to them. a lot
yeah,
Now telling them that pretty soon we're gonna be,
there's gonna be a ramp available.
Yeah.
There was a lot of double parking by cars too, where people were like
We know.
waiting for people on the ice cream store and.
Cracking down on that.
so we'll
totally.
talk about the enforcement, because that's a whole. nother
Yeah.
Yeah.
Topic, yeah.
We are still transitioning people over. We are still getting a number of people that were not aware that, we changed it over. We are issuing warning tickets, okay, for our first offenders, just to educate them. We can see that if somebody was issued a warning ticket, and they, again, parked on Elm and didn't pay for their space, they will get a regular ticket because they have been warned that they now have to pay on Elm Street. For the most part, everything is working well. We, meaning the parking department, is still getting used to the changeover ourselves, to the pay-by-plate system, so we're working through a little bit of, the enforcement on that. Right now, I'm looking into some technology that might help with the enforcement, because the pay-by-plate system is a little bit tedious and a little bit more time-consuming than the way we patrolled with the pay-by-space system, but we're working through all of that. I don't know if you hear, but some machines, again, little glitches here and there, little glitches with the app, but it's all a process, and we're on top of it, we're working through all of it. Again, it will just take a little time to, smooth everything out. We're really only about 6 weeks into it. So, but overall, I did pull a report that I had to pull for our monthly figures, and, there are a lot of people that are paying on Elm Street and South Avenue. I am seeing that in the report. So, people are getting used to it, and, just a matter of time before everybody, learns what needs to be done. Other than that, like I said, working through some little things here and there on our end as the parking department with enforcement.
Yeah,
But overall, for most of it, I seem to think it's going well. We've had a little, with personnel, so, not out there as much. We've been down a body, but like I said, for the most part, for a new initiative, for the big changeover that we did through the town, I think it's going as smooth as
Yeah.
it can.
As far as the, sort of the rollout and the communications plan, I'm hoping that some of you all got to see that, and I know not everybody, reads things or sees things, but, I can't remember the last meeting, but we did host a meeting with merchants, at the Playhouse. We also walked around these brochures, hopefully you've seen those, these parking at a glance, they're on our website, but, has a map explaining everything. We had that meeting, we obviously utilized the website, we had a special edition newsletter from Deanna that went out to everybody. It was written up, we had press releases, we've gone out and met with all the real estate offices, literally one by one. I did a session at Lapham last week, I'm going to Staying Put next week. So we're trying to get to everybody, although we're well aware that some people are still not getting the messaging or heard about it, but weren't sure when it was starting. And that's to Stacy's point, that's what we're trying to do with this warning ticket process. We are definitely, I'm personally aware, I'm watching, the commentary on Facebook, and I'm seeing a lot of some of the complaints, and I've been trying to keep a list of sort of what the key complaints are, and I just want to address a couple of them. As far as the fees on the app, I think some people were not aware, even with pay by phone, which we've had for a long time, that there are processing fees that go along with that, and then you can actually self-select to have texting and things like that. So I think once people understand that we're not imposing the fee, it's just the fee to use the system. But if you don't want to use an app and don't want to pay those fees, you can still do it right at the kiosk with a card and with money. The, someone mentioned, and I just thought I'd put this out there as well. Someone said to me, and I've heard it a couple of times, like, why don't we just have a QR code that people can pay? Well, the parking, companies that we talked to said, do not do that, because people come in and put a sticker on the kiosk overnight. That's a QR code to some random account. And for 3 days, we don't know it, and everybody's paying, and it's going to wherever. So they said, just do not, very clever on their part, but they said they really did not recommend using the QR code. Some people were complaining that the location services, a lot of people don't like to have location services on their phone. So when they go to use the app, Oregon's coming up or something like that. So again, that's just a learning curve. We've had, as I said, we've had several meetings. The signage I just saw yesterday, Tiger put up at the end of Elm Street now. There's an additional sign right across Elm that tells you that municipal parking is up here. What we are seeing that we're watching very carefully is the Park Street lot is half full. That's the 3-hour, free parking lot. The conclusion that we've come to in this short 6-week period in terms of, because I've been going out every single day, a couple times a day, and just doing a full walk and seeing for myself and taking pictures. And prior to 10 in the morning, you could have landed a plane on Elm Street this morning. I took a picture of it on Upper Elm. And before, I remember people always used to say, why is the street at 9 o'clock in the morning filled? Where is everybody? And I think what we've learned now is that they were employees, because they're not there now. And I think they knew they could park there, whether they just were up and moved their car once the enforcement kicked in, I'm not sure. But we definitely are seeing 10 o'clock in the morning, it's starting to get busier. But again, the whole goal was to always produce circulation. And Laura and I sat out there yesterday and today for about 20 minutes, and there was constant movement. There were cars coming out, there were cars going in. Mike and Lisa have been working closely, and Stacy actually went out for a bit too, because we were down one officer, so she went out and just, educating people who are at the kiosks on how to do it.
I had one older woman come in, and helped her download the Pay by Phone app and set her all up, yesterday. So, she was getting used to it because she wanted to use the app instead of going to the machine. She'd rather have the app. So going over to staying put, hopefully we can get
Yeah.
more people who are not used to using the app, more familiar with the app. Just to let you know, we have another app coming on board probably in another 2 weeks. That's our Passport app. And then hopefully sometime towards the end of November, Park Mobile will be up and running as well. So we'll have those 3 apps where people could choose whichever app they want. They can, if they have them on their phones already, they can pay with those apps. So that will be very helpful.
Apparently, it's
As
quite
well.
a process to bring these apps in
Absolutely.
between the finance department and the back end and all of that. So Stacy's been doing a nice job working through that.
And unfortunately, people are taking the little tape off of the signs, and a lot of people are trying to pay with Park Mobile, and they're getting the zone in California, and I keep getting calls about that. And I'm like, isn't it covered? And they're like, no. Well,
We
Oh,
went
the
out
little
with
blue
white
tape is
tape
off.
on, we had blue
So-
tape initially, and I think people thought they were helping us. Like, oh, that was
Tape
the
it off.
leftover, we're taking the blue tape off. I'm like, no, so we put white tape up and blend it in, but, so we're getting there. Hopefully, at the end of November, all 3 apps will be up and running nicely, and we'll be good there. The hours of enforcement is something that keeps coming up that people have questions about. We have put, in all the lots where it has and I have pictures here, but you're all online. In all the lots where people park, where it lists the zone, the hours are displayed on the sign, 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. On Elm Street, the enforcement hours are on the actual kiosks. So there's on the front of the kiosk, if you look, there's a sticker that says Monday to Friday, or a decal that says Monday to Friday.
That-
So Monday to Saturday, I'm sorry, Monday to Saturday. And then, so that's that. And now also, I asked you today, but we're not sure, and I need to look myself, if when you go to pay.
It is,
It
it
is,
is,
okay.
yeah. So when you wake the machine up and you do the start button, it will come up with the fees, and on there we'll have the enforcement hours as well. Right above where it says tap to start.
The issue that we had on Elm Street was, if you notice, The Elm Street signs are those long, narrow, signs. And we were trying to get everything that we could on there so that people could see it without, having to put a big square sign on some of these lampposts and things like that. So, so we're trying to tackle that, any additional signage that we think we need, we will add as we go on. We're trying to put as little up as we have to, but also want to make sure that everybody sees it and knows. The double parking, to your point, is definitely the trucks, the FedEx trucks and all that, they are still out there, but one of the things that the crew's been doing is talking to the drivers and telling them that once this ramp is done, we are gonna be moving them along and expecting them to move along. If they don't move along, they'll get a ticket. What someone's brought to our attention a couple of times here is that, the enforcement folks go home and like on Friday afternoons, in fact, I saw it Monday, I took pictures of it myself. The drivers picking up for pizza and things like that are all sitting around some of our local spots with their trunks up, just wait in no parking areas, right? So we're also talking to them, we're saying you just can't be sitting there, we're just trying to, again, this is a whole process that we're trying to take advantage of right now, and there's so many different elements of it, and we're trying to tackle them collectively. Some are rising to the top as needing more attention than others, but we're trying to address them as fast as we can. And, as Stacy said, Deanna and I have both gotten a lot of positive actual emails. Deanna and I have been out in the street a bunch and we've had people thank us. We've actually had a couple of merchants stopped us the other day. We were with the library at one of those programs and we had somebody who worked at one of the stores and she said, I hated this from the beginning. She said, but I actually now I'm seeing how it works and I understand it and I'm with you on that one. And then, even residents are reaching out. So, as we all know, sometimes you don't get caught doing something good all the time, but it is nice that people are recognizing it. Again, I'm well aware of the feedback on New Canaan Moms, and I'm trying to, between Laura and myself and others, we're trying to answer the questions and be responsive to any concerns that people have, and certainly bringing it back to the team, and we're talking about them and trying to address things as they need to be addressed.
And again, as we've always said in the past, if you hear of anybody that has any questions, regarding anything about the initiative, any needs clarification, got a ticket and didn't understand why, wants any kind of explanation, please refer them to the office. Somebody is always there to answer their questions. They call, they leave a message, it will be returned.
And that one
Okay.
mom, that one person that had posted that she'd gotten 2 tickets the other day, we weren't aware, but if she'd come in and talked to you, we would have, dealt with that for
Yeah.
her, so.
We're not, again, it's things we are getting used to as well. Like I said, doing the enforcement, doing the patrol in a whole new fashion for us, it's been one way for so many years. Things can happen. So if anybody is, again, like Tucker says, unsure of something, wants a question, it always helps to call. And I'm always happy. Anybody in the office would be happy to answer the question, and explain what's going on, see if we can help in any way. So.
And the
That's
other
what we're here
little
for.
issue that we're experiencing and we're working through is last Friday, was it last Friday that was so windy? Was it that day or was it
The
Thursday? The
connectivity.
connectivity, we are noticing that there are some connectivity issues, but we also, on Friday when that was happening, we were in a couple of the stores and they were all saying their Wi-Fi was having problems that way as well. I went to buy something and she had to write all my information down on a piece of paper, so. But we're working through that.
Yeah, I do hear occasionally get a call from someone that the machine is just spinning. Unfortunately, when I reach out to the techs, if somebody is not, it's intermittent. So if somebody is not there to actually call a tech while it's happening and we go out, it's happened to me. I got a call 3 times. By the time I went out to the machine and tried it myself, it worked absolutely fine.
And the parking
So-
department's phone number is right on the machine, so, and if
Yeah.
somebody were to find themselves in that situation,
Call.
call, and if they get a ticket and come in and say, look, I tried, I called you, of course, it would be taken care of. So, open up to you guys for anything else, anything additional that you're hearing, or any specific questions. Anybody want to start?
I think you hit a lot of them. I mean, it was just mostly, reading some of the feedback on moms and hearing feedback in person. But I think you addressed a lot of the points that I had
It's
heard.
hard. I mean, change is hard. It's a big change. We recognize it. We're trying to work with people. I was pleased to hear, a couple of the folks in the real estate office has said initially they were so afraid that these meters, the kiosks were gonna be these giant things. They really do blend in. I think where we placed them was a good spot. Some of them are next to a tree, already next to a lamppost. So I don't find them to be, really obtrusive on the street, which
And
is.
in fact, a lot of people were saying that they couldn't find a meter. That's why they weren't, we heard that too, like, they didn't know where the meters were
Right.
because they blended in probably so well.
Tucker, where does somebody, I'm actually looking at a picture of the kiosk screen. Where, I just don't see where it says that Sundays are free, and people have asked about that, and I don't know how to address that because it does not seem to me, I don't see where it says Sundays.
So
are
when enforcement says Monday through Saturday, 9 to 5, it means it's enforced Monday through Saturday.
But I don't see
9 to
that.
5.
I see
On
9
the
to
machine,
5
you do not
daily.
see a,
I see 9 to 5 daily. I took a picture
Okay.
of the kiosk.
And you've got it there.
yeah.
So Stacy's showing us a picture where it says that. So
Okay, so right above, so screen, then right above the screen, there's a little label that says
Yeah.
enforced Monday through Saturday. Okay,
Okay.
and my phone number. If you go to the kiosk and you hit the start button down here, the hours, actually,
I have a picture of the sticker.
9 to 5, it does say daily. I will be,
Okay, good.
all right, so it was supposed to say Monday through. All right. There is, we
Good
will,
catch.
Yep,
good
good
catch, yep. Okay,
Those little signs say it though, right?
yep, the little
Yes, on the
signs on
sticker
it
at the
says,
top says it,
okay,
but you're right on.
you're
the,
right. The kiosk should say Monday through Saturday, and this is where we're picking up a few things here and there, and I'm not gonna say.
Okay, thank
Is
you.
it possible to have I was in Vermont over Columbus Day weekend and in downtown Brattleboro. There was a splash screen on the kiosk that said Columbus Day, no, free parking today. Do we have the ability to do that on Sundays just for a splash screen to come up or after 5 o'clock?
Yeah, we talked about that, and we'll probably have to go back and
Yeah.
sit down with our group, and talk about that, how we wanna initiate that, part of it.
Okay.
We used to, back in the day, remember, which I've always thought was kind of nice, but on the holiday stroll day or whatever, we put a little bow on there saying, parking was our gift to you today or something, but there should be a way to do that,
I did update the website though, the website does say that it's Monday through Saturday, 9 to 5, Sunday and holidays free.
I'm just thinking of the visitor to New
Yeah.
Canaan.
Yep, no,
Right.
and you are absolutely.
Yep.
Correct.
And as far as enforcement of double parking, I drive up Elm Street just once or twice a day. I work at the other end of Elm Street. I have to tell you, Arvita has more double parkers than I think I see anywhere on Elm Street. And I
And they're
also
probably Uber
see,
Eats, yeah.
I also see Uber drivers there from time to time, but what they'll also do is they'll pull into the alley, which granted is a private property,
Mhm.
but it's not the greatest
Yeah,
ingress and egress for people to be overusing now, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It
No,
crosses the
I
sidewalk,
see it
it's hard
too.
to
You're
see
right. I
around
mean,
it.
yeah, I see it, and as I said, we've been down for a week and then another week to, one officer, so we were having to cover all of the lots. And by the way, just talking about some of the other lots, I mean, lumberyard, people are back to work now. I mean, those lots are very crowded again. Even Richmond Hill is getting crowded. So we're seeing, not on a Friday necessarily, but Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, it's even more and more. So between Lisa and Mike, and then Stacy was helping too, we're trying to monitor them all. But I also have reached out, because of the after hours enforcement issues that I was just talking about with some of the Uber Eats drivers. I've reached out to, Deputy Chief Andrew Walsh. And I let him know that we're really seeing this and we really need help from the police department as well when they're out on shift, if they can help us, especially over by Starbucks where everyone pulls up on the sidewalk just to run in and get what they can. By the way, those 15-minute spots on Park Street are being well used too. We sat there one day on that
They
whole
are.
day. Yeah,
They're constantly being turned over.
yeah, which is good.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so please, I mean, happy to answer any more questions, but just wanted to, sort of give you an update. We will have much more information. I know Katie, you had asked for some statistics or some data. Again, we figured right now, this time, it's been so transitional and we were down officers and that kind of thing. So we'll pull that kind of information together and keep updating you as we, progress through. And I think, again, once the ramp is done and all of it is in place and all 3 apps are up, I think then we can really sit down long and hard and say, all right, what did we miss here? Because I think once every element is there, other than the fact that it's busy. I mean, there's just cars everywhere right now. We're just busy. Wherever you go, there's cars. We had the first selectman of Darien came up and met with Stacy and I last week, as he's trying to take on some new parking initiatives there and some of their commuter lots. And we all sat there and we shared information, but we also came to the conclusion that it's just very, very busy right now. And there's just not a one solution that fits all problems. So trying to work through it.
Is the down an officer, is that a permanent thing or just?
No,
Oh, okay,
no,
sorry, I didn't know
no,
if I missed
no.
something, sorry.
Nope,
No,
nope. We'll be back.
I actually, I have one quick question about the handicap, like people with handicap stickers. Do they have to pay? Can they park anywhere on Elm Street and then not have to pay?
They-
Or do they have to pay? They have to.
So they have
it's
to
free
pay.
parking
They have-
in the handicap spots.
They
for
can
free?
park anywhere, but they have unlimited time.
Yeah.
So you can't, because it obviously acknowledges the fact that it could take them some time just to load and unload and get where they need to be. So they can park in any spot, but they do have to pay. If they can't find a handicap spot, they can park in another spot, but they have unlimited time.
Got it. Okay. And then the lumberyard lot has been packed. And I noticed that I like the sign on it that says like free parking after 10:30. It's a nice.
Yeah, we heard from
addition.
Glass House
Yeah.
early on that, because that's our, we moved, Glass House used to have some of their parkers, they paid for it, but would park up at the Park Street lot for the tours. Because Park Street, we were doing, we moved them over to Lumberyard, and now she's saying that she's seen a couple of times where some of her tour people aren't able to find a spot, and we reminded, we're sorry. I mean, we said to her, like we said, this is a courtesy that we do for them. We're trying to make sure that people can find spots, but we can't just plan for one particular business, one particular organization. We have to look at it in totality. So,
but every parking lot, we're hearing that the Locust lot is full, Center Park, like every parking lot, is just filling up. you know.
busy
It's like
place.
busy, yeah.
I would love to see more, more of a talk campaign again about the short-term spots because Tucker, I'm sure you saw on the mom's page post, somebody said it makes me less likely to go to town. And there were a lot of comments under that comment that just all said same. And that was distressing to see.
Yeah.
That's hard for a
Yeah.
merchant to see that.
Yeah. As we said all along, we're gonna look at reevaluate all of this. This is not a one and done. We just needed to give it all a time period to try it all out, so we can definitely have that conversation again once we've been through this for a bit. See where we're at. I would be, when I see those comments and I understand it, and I understand that I'm at a different level because I've been studying this for over 2 years now, but it is hard to see some of these comments of like, there goes New Canaan, I detest this, it's awful. I'm like, wow, we've got SNAP benefits that people are having a hard time with, like, let's really try to understand it. But I also understand that the businesses are on the front lines and they're totally relying on us to make the right decisions for the parking. So I just want us all to do everything we can do to make sure that we hit that balance that can work for everybody.
Cool.
Alright.
Should we move on to the parking manager's report?
Yeah, actually, we pretty much covered, everything that has been new, because I've been really working on this initiative and trying to make sure it's a smooth transition. We did hit, the lumberyard lot being very full, so I have put a hold on any new permits in that lot. We just can't fit any more people in at the moment. However, we do have some availability at Richmond Hill, so I might start moving down. We have a small wait list for Richmond Hill, so I might try to get as many people into Richmond Hill while they wait for the lumberyard lot. That'll probably be done sometime next week. I'll just have one more look there and see what the availability is on a busy day. But again, overall, since our last meeting, I have been really just working on the initiative and making sure everything went smoothly, everything is up and running, so, there's really nothing new other than that in our department, really just
Well,
handling all of
you
that.
got a personal announcement since our last.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes, I do. I will be retiring at the end of February, 23 years with the town. It's bittersweet because I've had a wonderful 23 years here, so, gonna miss everybody. But it is time for me. I am
Yeah.
ready.
Is there like staff updates for who you're gonna be giving your position up to in like a transition period for like training and
Yes,
HR is gonna start. yeah.
HR is
Yeah.
gonna start. There's no update on who's going to.
We haven't even
uh,
started yet, but we,
Yeah, but, I will start training everyone. That's why I wanted to give people plenty of time to, know when I was retiring so that I could train someone, cause there's a lot of little things that somebody would need to know.
But she's still, I'm
But-
still gonna be able to contact.
Yes.
her. She's got a lot of knowledge back there.
Yeah, you know, my phone is always open to anybody, and I will always be glad to come in and help and do whatever I need to do. Just to, get somebody,
Yeah.
all settled in.
and then
I'm not
another
going anywhere.
thing, the center school lot, there was like is there like a study for the center school lot?
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that
That was
ongoing
part of
still?
the memorandum of understanding with the
Yeah.
library that,
I haven't gotten an update.
I haven't either. I know they were initiating that, but it was, where they would do a study at their expense to let us know how as you know, they have 76 spaces that we gave them. And, so they'll study that at different times throughout the day and then come back and make a recommendation if we need to add more parking. There are some areas over there that we could add some parking, which would also be at the library's expense. There's some green space over there, which, not quick to take over, but if that lot definitely, the library's been great about working through the timing of their programs to try not to have overlaps, to have one finish and have that group go before another one starts, but yeah, that lot is another one that's definitely seeing a lot of, people
Tucker,
in there.
it's Deanna. I was just gonna let you know that the study dates have already happened. They happened at the end of October. So at this point, it'll just be the consulting firm taking the data that they've collected and developing a report and coming back to the town with what their recommendations are.
Sweet.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, congratulations on your decision.
Well, thank you,
Mhm.
thank you. Yes, that was
Bittersweet.
bittersweet, like I said, so, it wasn't an easy one, but
Well, it's just terrific.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I have to thank you all for your time and your effort and your energy in being part of the parking commission because, we need you.
Yeah.
So.
Well, thank you for training us.
Yeah, seriously.
That's a wrap. So
Yeah.
when's the next meeting, Stacy?
Next meeting is scheduled for December 3rd.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, so hopefully we have some more information and updates and.
And as we've said again and again,
With the
please-
holidays.
Send us anything along the way that you hear, and if there's ever a group that would like us to come and meet and explain this to them, we're happy to go on the road, so.
And always refer people to the office, like I said, that's what we're there for. You know, I love when people call and say, wow, I really didn't think somebody was gonna pick up the phone. You know, that never really happens, so, you know, coming from New York, I know that never really happens. Yeah, so please, we do answer when we do call back.
Sweet. Does anyone else have any questions or comments or anything? No? Okay, I'd like to make a motion to end the meeting at 7:55.
Second.
All in favor?
I,
Aye.
We did first, I'm
Unanimous.
sorry.
Kevin did.
Kevin, oh, yeah.
No.
Kevin Marley?
good job,
Yeah,
your second
thank
meeting,
you.
Kevin.
Yeah.
You're a
thank you.
natural. Thank you all, and
Thank you
if we
so
don't
much.
see anybody, have a happy Thanksgiving. We'll
Yes.
see you
All right,
soon.
you all too.
Okay, take care,
Take
bye-bye.
care.